Once you've gotten rid of unnecessary layers and unnecessary line types and all that, we're going to establish new line types and new layers in your AutoCAD program. Okay, so first layers that we're going to put together, let's open up our layer properties. And the only layer, to get the layer properties, click onto this in the layer area of the ribbon. Click on the layer properties, and that should bring up a dialog box that you could, not dialog box, but pull out box that that you can place anywhere into your drawing. And you could change the size of this thing so that it's either out of your way or whatever. You could always minimize this this pull out, or basically get rid of it altogether. Okay. Also, there are the similar functions that are in the full menu right here, all over the ribbon as well as shortcuts to just the basic layer sets right there. Okay. So we should, since we got rid of all the layers, we should only have layer 0. And layer 0, typically we don't place anything in there. It is the default layer, so things that you draw on there, if it is on the layer 0, it will be drawn on there, but we like you to place other, these objects in its own unique layer. Okay, so have the layer properties expanded so that you could see this whole menu right there. On this layer properties manager, you could see that we have one layer that is current, and it is current because we have a little check in it, and the name of the layer is 0. It is, you can either toggle it on or off. Whoops, turn current layer off, and if we do, everything's going to shut off because, well, basically everything is on that layer. Turn it on, it should arrive. Freezing basically means it's kind of the same thing as turning on and off. Just doesn't change any of the properties. Lock, if you place that, just like in Rhino, you won't be able to edit or anything to that layer. You can set a different color to this layer by clicking on the little box right there that has a color and selecting the colors that you desire. In our drawing exercises, I would prefer, or actually I insist, that you use only these colors right here, the first 7 layers, or 7 colors, which are red, yellow, green, cyan, and blue with magenta. White is a little bit confusing because white shows as black when it's on a white background. If it is on a black background, it'll show as white. But just know that layer color index 7 appears as black when you print it. Okay. The 2 other color, 8 and 9, will be a gray tone. You do also have all these other gray tones right here. Most people think that this white is the color white, and this black color right here is the color black. Actually, this is not a true black. It's just the darkest shade of gray that AutoCAD allows. So again, do not select these colors right here in the 125, I'm sorry, not 125, 250, 251, 252, 253, 254, 255. This right here looks white, but it's actually the lightest gray available, and it almost looks white. Okay, all these colors are various shades or hues of the primary colors right there, and we may use these on other drawings, but for our drafting, all the walls and all the drawings right here, just use these first 7 colors. Do not deviate to any of these other colors. When we set out to plot, I'll tell you which plot settings to use to take advantage of those setup. Okay. In this dialog box, you can also choose a color by this range right here, as well as change the menu for the type of colors that is available. But in our drawing exercises, we are just going to use the color, the index color chart. Okay. So that was the color and the line type. Right now it is set to continuous. We could always load different line types and stuff on there, and we'll show you how to do that in another video. Okay, and then there is also line weights as well. The line weights right here we'll use to indicate either heavy lines or light lines, depending on how close things are to you, or how far things are within your drawings. Okay, your typical line weights that you may have learned in manual drafting still apply in CAD drafting as well. Okay, and we'll use these as well. Okay, and we have all these transparency plot and the plot settings and all that, and we'll deal with it when as soon as we start adding more layers. Okay, so while we're here, the first layer that I would like you to add, and to add a layer, you go to this little button right here that looks like a stack of paper and has like a sunburst or something like that on it, and click on that icon. When you do that, another layer does appear, and all the settings that are on here are copied from the previous layer that you were highlighting. Okay, so for this layer, I would like you to name it VP, and that will stand for viewport. Okay, and the viewport, which are the squares that we put in into our layout space. The color, just so we'll make it different, so that we'll see that it is on another color when we set this up, I'll put it onto white, and so can you. Okay, the line type, we'll keep it as continuous. Line weights, we'll keep it in the default, and everything else stays the same except for this part right here. If you kind of pull this back, you'll say plot. That P stands for plot, and you'll see a little symbol of a printer. Okay, if you click on that, notice that there is like a no symbol that comes right next to it. When that symbol comes on, whatever is in this layer will not print. Okay, so that is advantage of placing this non-print or viewport in this non-print layers, or establishing that. Okay, so we could take that off or minimize that, and then if we click on an object, you can go ahead and expand the layer from our ribbon and click on the viewport. Okay, and that turns it into that viewport layer. And you could do all of these stuff at the same time, and click on the viewport, and that will be on the viewport layer. Okay, so let me try printing these two, or show you the difference. So this one right here, this viewport right here, is on the 0 layer, just as the drawing behind it. This red line right here is the viewport layer. So if I go ahead and plot we'll plot it. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing this to you. If I plot it to Adobe PDF and set the window, these two, and I'll just put it to fit so that I could show both the drawings. Okay, and preview it. Notice that on this one the viewport does not show, but on this one the viewport that we made does show, because it is still on a printable layer. Okay, so what we're going to do is to place all of our viewport into a viewport layer, so that when we go ahead and print, the viewport does not show, just the drawing part will show.